Are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Spartan fam, how on earth are we doing on this beautiful Thursday, Friday, weekend, whatever day, whatever time of day you're listening? Hey, thank you so much for making Locked On Spartans your first listen every single day here in the Locked On Podcast Network. We have got a lot to get to today because, this day and age, in the Mel Tucker era, there is rarely a slow week here, even in the summer, because the boys are recruiting their you-know-what stuff. And yeah, there's another massive weekend coming up, maybe even bigger than last weekend. We're going to get to that in segment 2. But first, there's recruiting that we've already missed the last few days. 2 4-star commits. We're going to hit on both of those as well. And then in segment 3, got that good old mailbag we're going to crack open, which is more recruiting talk. How fun is that? If you want to reach out, LockedOnSpartans@gmail.com. And also, hey, please rate, review, and subscribe to this here podcast. Yes, you probably already know it by now. This is the Locked On Spartans podcast. I am your host, Matt Sheehan, and if you're looking at my face on YouTube, hey, subscribe. I'm going to point to wherever the button can be. Wherever that button is, hey, please smash that subscribe button. And if you're listening the old-fashioned way on the podcast, hey, thank you for doing that too. Really appreciate you kicking off your weekend here, another massive one. Because, Mel Tucker, the guy can recruit. And he has recruited, as he has already done so this week. Let's just get right into it. 2 4-star commits within 3 days after a massive opening weekend, 2 official visit season in June. On Monday, not too long after he left East Lansing to go back home in Texas, MSU gets a commitment from cornerback Chance Rucker. So not only do we have some tuck coming, but we got some ruck coming. That's right. That's a pun that I will gladly use. And also, Wednesday, not bad at all. We get a 4-star wide receiver in Demetrius Bell. Let's do some learning about these guys, shall we? So we're going to fast forward. How about the total opposite? We're going to rewind, to Monday, and we're going to talk Chance Rucker. This was a late one on Monday, about 11:30 Eastern time. It drops on Twitter that, yes, this wonderful 4-star player out of Texas has committed to the green and white. And that makes more Texas commits to Michigan State than state of Michigan commits, because Chance Rucker is the 3rd player out of the Lone Star State to pledge his commitment to the green and white. We got Kedrick Risano, of course, the 4-star running back, and then we got the 3-star quarterback, Bo Edmondson, as well, from down south. This made it the 4th 4-star commit of the 2023 class. Obviously not for long. We'll get to him in a little bit, but more on Chance Rucker. This is the 2nd cornerback commit of this class, joining 3-star Eddie Pleasant, the kid out of Tampa, being the other one. Now, the lovely folks at 24/7 Sports, that is our Bible as far as recruiting rankings go. Where on earth does Mr. Rucker stack up? Well, good. Pretty good. 349th overall. And if you can get a kid in the top 400, we're feeling okay about that. Also, the 35th ranked cornerback in the nation as well, and the 60th best player in the state of Texas. I'll give that a yeehaw. Why not? I know 60 is a big number, and if you're the 60th ranked kid in Michigan, you're probably not playing Big Ten football. But listen, if you are listening to this podcast, you probably know a little something about high school football. I mean, you're probably a college sports diehard if you're listening to a college sports podcast in the middle of June. So you probably already know how great high school football is in Texas. And yeah, if you're just even a top 100 player in that great football state, you're a pretty damn good player. And that's what Chance Rucker is as well. He's got an interesting highlight film, really showcases a lot of what he can do, whether it's press coverage, whether it's sagging 10 yards off the ball when the ball is snapped, whether it's hitting. And my goodness, does this kid like to hit. A lot of Chuck Brantley in his game, I see. Although a little bit bigger than Chuck Brantley as well, so able to absorb those hits a little bit. So yeah, there's nothing not to like about the Chance Rucker commit as well. So there we go. We're off and running in the defensive back room. And listen, you add in the last year's guys, along with Eddie Pleasant as well, but you add in last year's defensive backfield class of Caleb Coley, Jaden Mangum. They'll probably maybe either put him at nickel or cornerback, Ade Willie, and then who knows what they're going to do with Dylan Tatum, obviously a very talented kid. So maybe he plays some corner, maybe it's more of a nickel, but regardless, really solid back-to-back classes of defensive backs so far. And it might not even be over because still to go in the month of June, there are 5 other cornerbacks visiting or have already visited. Like last weekend, 4-star Jalen Braxton, he visited. Caleb Presley and 3-star Colton Hood are coming this weekend. And then the weekend after that, it's 4-star Dalen Austin, who is an LSU commit, and then 3-star Bryce Pollock, who is a Pitt commit at the end of the month. So yes, you are still going to see 5 other cornerbacks come to East Lansing, or like I said, like Jalen Braxton already has come to East Lansing. So yes, these are spots that are filling right now, and not bad. You could fill these up with some 4-star athletes out of Texas. So let's talk about this other guy, shall we? Yes, Mr. Demetrius Bell. And I love this one. Hey, listen, I love the Rucker one as well, but love what I saw in the Demetrius Bell film. We'll get to that in a hot second, but hey, let's just go through all the numbers, the rankings, yada, 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 all that fun stuff. He's the 5th 4-star commit of this class. That's right. Wow, that's crazy to say, especially where this program has been up until about 2 years ago. And this is a unique recruitment, I would say, because instead of Michigan State casting a wide net on the receiver position, Demetrius Bell is one of just 3 receivers taking visits this month. Later on this month, we have 3-star Paul Billups and Frederick Moore, but also it's kind of unique that he really didn't have a rating when he visited Michigan State. He's kind of somewhat flown under the radar as far as recruiting sites go, but that's been changed very recently. As you know by now, he has been rated that 4th star. 24/7 Sports gave him that bump earlier in the week, and then Rivals actually early on Wednesday, I believe, minted him a 4-star as well. He's got a solid offer sheet as well, like Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU, Penn State. He visited Ole Miss, he visited Kentucky, he visited Vanderbilt, and visited Arkansas State. But ultimately, the official visit last week, clearly enough to get it done here. No doubt about that. Talk coming. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. He is the 23rd ranked receiver in the country. And right now in Michigan State's class, which I believe is at 9 kids right now, he's the 2nd highest rated commit, just behind Andrew DePape. Of course, he is the 4-star defensive end out of Iowa. So yes, this is, as it stands right now, Demetrius Bell, the 2nd most talented recruit in Michigan State's 2023 class. His game, I absolutely positively love. And listen, when you see a high school kid post his highlight film, you're only going to see good plays, right? They're not going to be showing drop passes or anything like that, but it's not even the hands that fascinate me. And this is something that is just always there. Like, yeah, sure, sometimes catching the ball can be a little iffy at times, especially for high school kids. But if you watch the lower half of the screen, if you watch Demetrius Bell's feet, I don't know if you've ever watched like a YouTube video. Maybe you're watching this one like this, or like a Netflix show on 2 times speed and everything really sped up. His feet are flying at like double or triple the speed that anyone else on the fields are. Like it is crazy. And that helps him get off the line, beat press coverage. There's a lot of film where he's taking 4 steps before the cornerback can even get their 2nd step down to try to block this kid on the line. Or when he's breaking out of routes, they're crispy. They are crisp routes. This kid just simply gets open. And yeah, he's got the agility, but he's also got that straight line speed too. I mean, there's also a good amount of clips out there of him just, okay, well, I'm going to just do a fly route up the sideline. If you just want to throw the ball 35 yards, I'm going to be incredibly open because my name is Demetrius Bell and I am insanely fast. And yeah, we got that speed coming up to East Lansing, so not bad. Especially, I think of the future too, as you do with recruits. And okay, well, who would be on the opposite side of the field as him? Let's say Bell's the X. Who's going to be the Z? Well, if that's Jeremy Bernard, I like those bookend receivers there in 2025, let's call it, or 2026 maybe perhaps, or hey, maybe in 2024, we get a trio of Jeremy Bernard. We get some Montori Foster action out there. We get some Keon Coleman action along with Demetrius Bell. So yeah, the wide receiver room, that got talented pretty fast. And it never really lacked talent, even like the later years of the D'Antonio era. But wow, I think it's even taken a step up from that. So yeah, absolutely jazzed by both of these commitments. I mean, we always are. We're always happy when guys commit to green and white, to East Lansing, to Tucker, to the boys, yada, yada, yada. But man, when they're 2 4-stars and you absolutely have fallen in love with their film like I have, yeah, you're starting to feel a lot better. And I didn't think that was possible because I already felt pretty damn good about how things were going in East Lansing as far as recruiting goes. And we're not done talking about recruiting. You're insane if you think we're done talking about recruiting. I just got to take a quick little break here, though, and talk to you fine folks about BetOnline.net. Woo! I think I checked BetOnline.net this morning, and you can get Draymond Green NBA Finals MVP odds at a smooth 90-1. So, yeah, if you're feeling good about our guy, one of my favorite players of all time, throw a shekel down there. Throw $1 on it. You can win $90 if he wins Finals MVP. I have no idea how Game 3 went. I'm actually recording during Game 3, so this could be really bad gambling advice. But regardless, a lot of great bets that you can have out there at BetOnline. They make it fun. I mean, the futures, the props, and even outside of sports, too, they got you covered because they're your number one source for all your sports betting stats and info. Find all the latest developments, news, and odds, including, well, yeah, this year's basketball championship matchup, NHL hockey conference finals, Major League Baseball, and, of course, the latest fighting news from MMA to UFC to boxing. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, including live betting, esports, and more. So head to the website today, use your mobile device, learn more about the trends in action. That is at BetOnline, where the game starts. And also, if you're looking to fix up your car, your truck, your school bus, what have you, start it with the fine folks at Rock Auto. That's right, Rock Auto! With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it is now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why? Oh, why would you endure often just pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning like, oh, does your Yukon need a skibble flapper? Like, I don't know. That could very well be a car part. It probably isn't. I don't know anything about cars other than you fill it up with gas that's $9 a gallon every once in a while, and you hit the middle of the steering wheel if you want to honk the horn. That's the extent of my auto knowledge right there. But luckily, Rock Auto's here for you because they are the very knowledgeable, very friendly, and very family-oriented folks over there at Rock Auto. Yes, they are. Why would you choose to spend 30, 50, or even 100% more for the same part from a chain store car dealership that you would find on rockauto.com? You'd only do it if you were a big clown. Here. But you're not a big clown. You're a smart person. You use rockauto.com. So go check out rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck right locked on in there. Hey, how'd you hear about us box so you know that we sent you? Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. That's rockauto.com. And before getting more into some Michigan State football recruiting talk, yeah, let's go. The Ultimate NBA Mock Draft starts June 16th with over 50 insiders. Nothing equals the Ultimate NBA Mock Draft, the Locked On NBA Big Board Draft experts, plus the Odyssey insiders. First pick is June 16th. Search Ultimate NBA Mock Draft and follow now so you don't miss a pick. And let's not miss out on any more recruiting talk right now. So where does this put Michigan State in the grand scheme of things right now? They just got 2 more 4-star commits. We're having a great time. This is awesome. Right now, yes, things are awesome. Michigan State is top 15 in the nation. They're 14th overall right now. And as I do in the summer, I have to caveat it with saying there's a lot of game left in the recruiting game. Like right now, Northwestern's got the 6th rated class, not just in the Big Ten, but the whole country. It's because they have like 17 kids signed already, which is a crazy strategy, but go on with yourself, Pat Fitzgerald. Or, for example, Texas Tech with the number 2 rated class in the nation. Well, it's because they have 20 kids already signed. So, yes, Michigan State, still less than 10 kids. There's a lot of game left, and a lot of schools are around that 8, 9, 10, 11 committed kids number. So a lot's going to unfold here. So, but hey, right now, the average rating for Michigan State is 88.95. They're rated on a scale of, 0 to 100, but realistically, more like on 24/7 Sports, you'll see kids rated from 82 to 99. 88.95, that means you're like a low 4-star on average, which is a fine start to your class. So, with that said, we got another massive weekend coming up for Michigan State. This is probably even bigger than it was last weekend, because last weekend had 11 visitors and 8 were 4-star or higher. That's crazy. Like, that's very impressive. Even like if you are of the likes of like Penn State, that's a very good one, or Ohio State or Georgia or Alabama. And that's not me over exaggerating here. That's not me getting too fired up. Like, no. Michigan State has more kids rated 4-star or higher visiting their campus this June than I think every single program in the nation. I also got a fun number here at the end of the segment that you'll like too. That's more Big Ten centric. But hey, okay, last weekend, 11 visitors. 8 kids are 4-star or higher. This weekend, how about 16? How about 16 kids visiting, 13 of which are rated 4 stars or higher? 13 4-stars or higher. I'll say it one more time. 13 4-stars or higher visiting East Lansing this weekend. And all 13 are rated in the top 400. And I got to point this out, as I did last week, that it is fascinating that there's only going to be one Michigan kid coming, and that is Brennan Parachek, of course, the tight end commit from Dexter. Other than that, though, you got 4 Texas kids coming in, 3 Florida kids coming in, 2 Georgia kids coming in. You got Arizona in the house, New Jersey in the house, Washington in the house, and Massachusetts. And let's talk about that kid from Massachusetts, shall we? Let's talk about, well, who on earth is visiting? Now, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm trying to share my screen right now, and I just pulled this up, and I hope it works. I don't really do this often, and if you're listening on the podcast, well, you're in luck. We're going to go down the list here and name these guys. So, like I said, speaking of Massachusetts, this is the biggest, quite literally, the biggest guy coming in this weekend. It is offensive tackle Samson Okunlola, 5-star, 20th best player in the class, number 3 rated offensive tackle. This is a massive kid to have on campus, coming off of a weekend last weekend where you had 3 5-stars, and they were all defensive linemen. Now you're starting to see, okay, a 5-star offensive lineman. No mystery as to how Georgia dominated their way to the college football national championship last year. Trench play. You keep getting these 5-star kids in, that's a great start to get them to commit. They're not going to commit unless they visit, and this is a good start. So, okay, I'm going to try not to get too excited, but yes. Beyond that, we got another top 100 kid in the nation, cornerback Caleb Presley coming in. Defensive lineman Eno Etta. He is actually just got a prediction to commit to Michigan on a up-and-coming recruiting platform called On3. I thought that was a kind of a head scratcher because he was at Utah last week and he's going to Michigan State this weekend. So I don't know how much stock I'm going to put into that. But yes, if you're really in the recruiting weeds and you saw that happen on Wednesday, I'm going to just hit the pause button right there. But yes, also commit Andrew DePape, defensive lineman. We got linebacker Jamal Anderson, linebacker Jordan Hill, also a 5-star. Ryan Yates, who's a safety committed to LSU, but obviously still interested in the Michigan State Spartans. Defensive lineman Terrence Green, safety Jaden Bonsu, King Mack, who's a safety. King Mack, which is a name that just goes very hard. And also Brennan Parachek, Kedrick Risano, the 2 Michigan State commits. And then the last 4-star that we'll be visiting is interior offensive lineman out of Florida, Clay Wedden. And then you also have 3 3-stars as well, offensive tackle Elijah Page, cornerback Colton Hood, and then tight end Vance Bolliard. That was a mouthful, and that's awesome because, man, 16 kids, all great players too. This is what we're talking about. I'm having fun. This is a hoot and a half, so I'm sure you're having a great time too. It's probably why you're listening, because you want to see how much fun we're having. So, like I said, I'll say it again. Last weekend you had 11 visitors, 8 which were 4-star or higher. Even next week is still going to be a big weekend because you have 11 visitors as well, 7 of which are 4 stars or higher. Now, this is a fun little number here that I did some digging around for. The Big Ten West as a whole, think of all 7 schools over there. For the month of June, they have 23 4 stars or higher visiting collectively. Of all 7 schools combined for the month of June, 23 4 stars or higher visiting all 7 of their campuses combined. Michigan State alone, in the first 3 weeks of the month, have 28 4 stars or higher visiting East Lansing. Let me say that one more time because I had a lot of fun saying it. Hope you have a lot of fun hearing it because I'm going to say it one more time. The Big Ten West as a whole, all 7 schools combined, 23 4 stars or higher visiting their campuses in the month of June, and MSU, just MSU in the first 3 weeks of June, 28 4 stars or higher visiting. Of course, none of this really matters unless they pick your school. I know this, you know this, but pretty good start. Pretty good start to the month of June. And should we expect any more commitments from this weekend? I think I'd be a little surprised. We talked about this with Justin Thin last weekend, and he puts it best that a lot of these kids at Michigan State is recruiting this day and age. They can take their time with committing because it's not like, these highly rated 4-star kids, especially the 5 stars, aren't going to hear from coaching staffs being like, hey, you got to commit soon or your spot might be taken away. Like, no, there's going to be spots for these kids, so they can take their time, take all 5 of their official visits, go through a whole summer tour around the Midwest or the nation or wherever they want to go, and then sit down and figure something out. But is it out of the question that these kids are going to commit next week? Clearly no, because, we just picked up 2 great ones last week, and let's keep that momentum going. Why not? Let's have a great time. I'm having fun. I'm sure Tucker's having fun. It was a great time. God, I love this. This is the best. Tuck coming. Let's go. We got a mailbag question. Actually, 2 mailbag questions to get to coming up next segment here. But first, I just got to talk to you beautiful people about Built Bar. Now, you've heard me talk up and down. Whether you've been listening to this show for weeks, months, years, we talk your ear off about Built Bar. And, for great reason. Because they bring the heat no matter what it is. Whether it's their Built Puffs, whether it's their Built Granola Bars, whether it's just their standard Built Bars, they go absolutely hard. And I got great news for you, too, is that they are bringing back Caramel Brownie. I had to whisper that because I don't want to get myself too excited here. Caramel Brownie is coming back. Yes, that's right. Just 130 calories, 17 grams of protein, and just 4 grams of sugar. And it, honest to God, tastes like you're eating an actual brownie. And you're having this before your workout, your day at the office, your day watching the kids, your day doing yard work, your day on the golf course. Like it is immaculate how it tastes and also how it makes your body feel, because that's just how Built Bar rolls, baby. Every single product I've had is a certified banger. And you might think that, they're paying you money to say that. Like, that is not entirely true. Like, if you walk up to me on the sidewalk, which crazy enough, people have actually done this, like during tailgating, like, hey, like, I don't want to talk to you about anything Michigan State, of course. Talking about Built Bars, like, are they actually good? Yeah, they're amazing. They really are. I will shoot you straight on camera. I'll shoot you straight off camera, on the microphone, off the microphone. Built Bar hooks it up. And they also hook up your wallet, too, with a nice promo code of LOCKED15. Now, what's that going to do? Well, when you punch in promo code LOCKED15, all one word, at Built.com, that's going to save you 15% off your order. One more time, gang. Built.com, smash in promo code LOCKED15. That's going to get you 15% off of your Built Bars. Now let's crack open this mailbag, shall we? LockedOnSpartans@gmail.com if you ever do want to reach out. We got 2 that I want to get to. And the first one is a great question. And this is from Matt. Look at that, a person with a great name. How about that? And he says, random question for the pod. This past weekend, with all the recruits in town, most took pictures with a Jeep on the field. Have you heard anything about an NIL partnership with MSU and Jeep? The new Grand Cherokee is cool and all, but just curious why all the recruits were posing with a Jeep on the field. That is a fantastic, fantastic question, and I'll cut it to the chase right now, is that I don't know. I don't know if there's an NIL deal going on. Now, of course, I'm not going to stop my answer right there. I will go on. And I want to start this by saying that I could very well see it being one. I could. And I don't know if it's because that obviously dealerships and NIL go hand in hand. I mean, heck, today we just saw that a local Ohio dealership just gave CJ Stroud a Bentley in an NIL deal. But yeah, Kenneth Walker had a dealership NIL deal at the end of last year. It just seems to go hand in hand. Hook up a kid with a sick car, they'll promote your dealership, and everyone kind of wins in this situation. And it was interesting to see the Jeep Grand Wagoneer on the field because this isn't like a classic car that you always hear like pimped out, right? Like I don't know, a Range Rover, a Lambo, a Corvette, or whatever the cool cars are. But I gotta say, the Grand Wagoneer is a sick car. And I got to actually ride in one about 3 weeks ago on my way to a buddy's bachelor party, and that car is insane. So, no, it's not like they threw like my Chevy Equinox out there and they're taking pics with that. Like, that is still a badass car, and I'm sure the kids got to check it out if it is part of NIL. If it's not, and it was just a prop, kind of random, but I guess kind of cool. But yeah, I just think that the Jeep was a little too random for me to not be connected to NIL. That's just me. This is all speculation. I peeked my head out a little bit to people in the know, and even they were like, I have no idea. Now, the other thing is, too, is that NIL has just also poisoned my brain to think that, like, anything that any college player does now is for an NIL deal. Like, Ethan Boyd could post on Instagram that he's eating cottage and pizza on a random Friday night on Instagram. And I would immediately think, like, oh, he got a bag of money from Cottage Inn to promote their stuff. Wow, that's awesome. That's great for him. Or Darius Snow can be photographed and posted on Twitter of him. What do you want him to do? Let's say picking up an order from Grubhub. I'll use other food one. I'll just blindly assume that he's got an NIL deal for Grubhub. So like maybe I'm even going too far here, and that's why I think that the Jeep thing could be part of an NIL deal. Yeah, so I'm sorry I don't have a clear, concise answer, but I can totally see where you're coming from because that's where my mind went immediately too when I saw the Wagoneer. It's like, oh, a dealership could be setting something up in the future with these kids that would, hey, you commit to Michigan State, see the sick car that's probably worth like $100,000, I'm guessing. Yeah, that could be yours. That's what you could tool around the friendly confines of East Lansing. And so, yeah, love that question because hey, it's very topical to recruiting. And yeah, I was wondering if I was in the minority for caring that much about pictures that recruits are taking. But no, it's nice to see that there's other sick people out there that are this into the weeds with recruiting that they want to know about details of every picture. So love that. And I also love this email here too. And I don't know if this is a question or not, but I love it anyway. This is from Zach. The email title is called Hot Take. He's even not sure if this is a hot take or not, but let's get right into it. Now, this is a lengthy email, but we're going to get through all of it. Zach writes, first of all, he says he loves the show. Thank you, Zach. I love you as well. I have never understood the whole rent-free banter. In regards to U of M and MSU, it's pretty obvious that both sides are thinking about each other a lot. Okay, I'm going to stop right here. If you're unfamiliar with rent-free, congratulations, you probably don't live your entire life on the internet arguing about college sports 24/7 like myself. But whenever, a Michigan fan, says something about Michigan State out of the blue, we hit him with the, oh, we live rent-free in your head. Or if, a Michigan State fan has an offhand comment to make about Michigan or any of their teams, we're always hit with the, oh, little Sparty, we're rent-free in your head. So that's the term rent-free right there. Just want to clear that up. Back to the email. Even if the Wolverines like to act like they don't care about us, it's obvious to everyone. But what I'm trying to say is I don't think it's that much of a dig. I openly admit that U of M is in my head rent-free. My two favorite things about sports are, number one, watching MSU win, and number two, watching U of M lose. Here, I'll co-sign to that one. I've been very fortunate to see both these things happen at simultaneously in abundance of times recently, hashtag keep chopping, but I admittedly will watch a U of M game just to root for the other team. And you know what? It's fun as well when they lose. So they can say rent-free all they want because I'll agree with them and then laugh right in their face when they lose. Not really a question in here, just a semi-hot take for you. And then he writes off F Michigan. I can't say the word he actually wrote because I do appreciate my sponsors, but yes, I share that sentiment as well. Yeah, so thank you very much for that email, Zach. Yeah, I just think the whole rent-free thing is very funny too. Now, I might be in the minority. I don't watch a lot of Michigan when they're not playing Michigan State. I'll do it if it's like a big game and nothing else is on, like their game against Ohio State at the end of the year. Or, this goes hand in hand with the email right now, if it's like 3 minutes to go and they're down like 10 points, it's like, oh, I want to turn on ABC or Big Ten Network or whatever channel they're on to see how this one ends. But yeah, no, it is hilarious. Both teams absolutely always think about each other. But the only difference is that when we think about Michigan football, it's normally coming off the heels of a win in the last 15 years. So, yeah, of course that lives rent-free in my head. Yeah, whoa, winning your biggest game more times than not of the season lives rent-free in your head? Oh, you little brother, you, like, yep, that's that is how it goes in rivalries here. And it's funny, too, to act or see them act like they don't care about Michigan State, sometimes even more so than Ohio State. If you are on Twitter, you know that the most talked about game from their fan base of the offseason isn't their Big Ten championship win against Iowa. It isn't their win against Penn State. Shockingly enough, it isn't even their win against Ohio State. No, the game they want to talk the most about in the offseason is the one they lost on October 30th in East Lansing. Lost connection, so I don't know if you guys can still hear me, but regardless, we're going to end the show right now. Thank you so much for listening to Locked On Spartans. That's right, your team every single day here in the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for the emails, Matt and Zach. Really do appreciate it. Again, lockedonspartans@gmail.com. If you do have any questions, next week, again, we'll do 3 shows, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. That's how we're going to roll in June and July. We will get back to 5 days a week in August, but yes, in the off season, 3 days a week, right here in the Locked On Spartans podcast. And again, I'll say it for probably the 15th time, thank you for making us your first listen every single day. Now go make Locked On Big Ten your second listen. That's right, it's Locked On Big Ten with our guy Nate Dickinson, bringing you up to speed on everything going on inside the conference. He's awesome. He's great. I'm actually going to be on the show Friday. Yeah, that's right. I had to get my days in line right there. So, hey, thank you all. Love you all. You guys are all the best. Go green. Tuck coming. Keep chopping.